All right, today we are diving deep into some huge questions. I'm talking about the biggest of the big. What is our real place in the cosmos? And if there's some kind of creator out there, where do our ethics, our morals, actually come from? Let's get into it.
I mean, for pretty much all of human history, our gut reaction to that question has been, yeah, of course we are. But what if that's just a massive assumption? Let's try on a completely different perspective, one that might just reframe everything we think we know. And it all starts with a little thought experiment. So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to start small, really small. Picture a huge, sprawling soccer field, green grass as far as the eye can see. And on one single blade of that grass, there's a tiny little ant. Now this ant is the key to the whole idea.
You know, from that ant's point of view, its world, that patch of grass, is the entire universe. And it's perfect, right? It has everything an ant could want. So it seems totally logical for the ant to think, wow, this whole magnificent place must have been designed specifically for me.
But, of course, we know better. We can see the whole field, and we know the truth. The field wasn't made for the ant at all. It was built for a game, for a purpose so completely outside the ant's reality that it could never, ever even begin to imagine it. And here's the real kicker. The humans who built the field, they don't hate the ant. They don't love the ant. They probably don't even know the ant is there. The ant is just a byproduct, an accident living in a world made for something else entirely. And that forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. Could we be the ants?
Okay, so let's take that thought, that we might just be a side effect of a much grander design, and let's scale it up from a soccer field to, well, everything. Let's explore what a distant creator's universe would actually feel like. So you've got two very different ideas of a creator, right? On one side, there's the concept of a personal God, someone who's deeply involved, who listens to prayers, and who hands down a clear rulebook for us to follow. But on the other side, there's the idea our ant analogy points to, a distant creator, an architect of reality so huge, operating on a scale so vast, that we might not even be on their radar.
And you know, this whole distant architect thing, it's not as new as you might think. You can find traces of it all over. Think about Plato's demiurge, this cosmic craftsman who built the universe and then kind of let it run. Or look at modern cosmology, the Big Bang, the multiverse. These theories paint a picture of a universe so staggeringly immense, it makes you wonder who or what kicked the whole thing off in the first place.
Okay, so let's just run with this idea for a minute. If we're living in a universe with a distant creator who isn't sending down memos or instructions, well, that leads us to a really, really big problem.
And this is the real dilemma, isn't it? If there's no divine rulebook, no instruction manual sent from on high, where does our sense of right and wrong come from? Are we just lost? Is it total chaos? Or could our morality emerge from somewhere else entirely?
Well, one compelling answer is this framework called survival cooperation ethics. The core idea is simple. Morality doesn't come down from the heavens. It actually bubbles up from the ground. It's the set of behaviors we've figured out through thousands of years of trial and error simply because working together gives us the best shot at survival.
And this isn't just some nice philosophical theory. It's backed up by what we can actually observe. I mean, look at evolution, look at game theory, look at human history. The pattern is crystal clear. Groups that cooperate, that build trust, that take care of each other, they just do better. They thrive. So in that sense, ethics isn't some deep mystery. It's just the user manual for how to be a successful team.
So what's in this user manual then? If we were to actually write down the core principles of survival cooperation ethics, what would they be? Well, you might end up with something that looks kind of like a new, super practical 10 commandments.
So let's break down a few. First, preserve life. Makes sense, right? A group can't survive if its members are killing each other. Then you have value honesty. Absolutely crucial, because without trust, cooperation completely falls apart. Respect agreements, because you need stability. And then share resources and care for the vulnerable, because a group is only as strong as its ability to support all of its members.
And the list goes on with principles that are just as vital for survival. Limit greed, because if one person hoards everything, the whole group collapses. Resolve conflicts peacefully, because internal war is a recipe for disaster. Seek knowledge, because the more you understand your world, the better your chances are. Respect the earth, because, well, it's the only home we've got. And finally, the one that underpins them all, think beyond self.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? I know it might sound like a cold, lonely universe.
But the conclusion drawn from this line of thinking is actually the total opposite. It's surprisingly hopeful.
And this is the powerful twist. The idea of a distant creator doesn't make us insignificant. Instead, it places the full weight of responsibility squarely on our shoulders. If we are the ants, and the creators of the field aren't watching over us, then we are all we have. It means we are the ones who must care for each other. And that leaves us with one last big thought. If our ethics aren't just given to us, but are something we have to build ourselves, out of the fundamental need to survive together, what does that mean for how we live our lives, for how we treat each other, and for the kind of world we choose to create from this day forward?